Winning is one thing, but winning against stiff competition is how the best measure their sporting success.
Rusty is a heck of a competitor, and he's gotten stronger over the years, and he's going to be one to reckon with for several years now, and it's fun to race him like that. He brings the competitive side out in me, and I think I do in him with get more determined to win races and beat each other.
Victory in NASCAR's Winston Cup means more than the $1.5 million payoff. To be the champion is to be the best at stock car racing's elite.
Earnhardt's the best. So when you beat the best, you got something to be proud of. And if you lose against the best, that's nothing to be sorry about.
Today, we'll relive the Earnhardt-Wallace battle of NASCAR 93. TNN Motorsports proudly presents NASCAR 93, a review of the racing season and a look ahead.
This TNN Motorsports special is brought to you by Chevrolet. No car company brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet. And by the NASCAR Year in Review home video, available now.
The racetracks are empty now. The memories of the season gone by riding the breeze through the seats, waiting for the coming new season. Over the next 90 minutes, we'll rekindle those memories of the 1993 NASCAR season gone by. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. It's been a bittersweet season for all of us in and around the sport of stock car racing. Amidst the excitement of a great title chase between two friends, we mourned the loss of two others. But among the season's bright spots are a crop of rookies that have definitely served notice. Today's champions cannot rest on their laurels. Besides our highlights, Neil Bonnett will sit down and have a chat with his hunting buddy, the Winston Cup champion, Dale Earnhardt. And we'll take a look ahead into 1994. It, too, should be a season of change. One thing that won't change, has never changed, is where it all begins. Back in February at Daytona. For 2 weeks each February, NASCAR's High Holy Days hold the racing world's attention. A penny was the fastest qualifier. It was Kyle, and he wanted to continue the family's Daytona winning tradition in the first 500 run since his dad retired.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
The honorary starter, stock car racing's king, Richard Petty, waved the green flag as son Kyle led the field to the start. Kyle's number 42 Pontiac, however, dropped back as youthful exuberance pushed the number 24 Chevy of rookie Jeff Gordon to the front, delighting 160,000 fans. The lead changed hands 22 times in the first half of the race. By midway, Kyle was proving just how strong his car was, moving from 6th to the lead, and just barely claiming the $10,000 halfway leader bonus over Dale Earnhardt. The last third of the race would be filled with yellows, one of which would spoil Kyle's dream. After a slow restart, the field's horribly bunched up. Earnhardt, charging from 8th, gets into Al Unser Jr., who slides into the infield and collects Bobby Hillin in the 94. They slide up the grass. Hillin comes up the track right into the path of Kyle Petty, who could not miss it. Hillin tries to plead his case, but Kyle doesn't want any explanation. He just lost his best ever chance to win the 500. Watch the yellow car center of the screen. That's Michael Waltrip. He and Derek Cope get together and get into Rusty Wallace, and Rusty takes a harrowing end-over-end, side-over-side tour through the backstretch grass. Wallace walked away unhurt. After the final restart, it was down to a 4-car battle. Earnhardt, Gordon, and Dale Jarrett in Chevrolets, plus Jeff Bodine's Ford. Jarrett takes Gordon on the outside for second place and goes hunting for Earnhardt. They touch. And Jarrett on the bottom of the racetrack gets a little toe off Jeff Bodine and takes the lead with 1 lap to go. Earnhardt comes fighting back on the outside. But Jarrett moves up to fend him off and wins the Daytona 500. When we come back, the highlights continue as the Winston Cup season gets in gear with 4 different winners in the first 4 races.
It's just a tremendous day, a great feeling. I mean, you can't put it into words what it's like to know that you've beaten the very best at their best, because everybody prepares their very best for that race, and we were able to beat them on that day, and it was a great day for my family, knowing that Glenn and I had stood and watched my dad run out of gas in 1963 leading the race, so it was a great feeling.
What is luxury? Buying some $40,000 sedan? Or being able to sleep at night because you bought a car for a lot less that you really love? Chevrolet has the answer. Right now, they're making your money count on Chevy Cavalier with standard anti-lock brakes and $500 cash back until January 4th. I don't know about you, but I'll be sleeping well tonight. Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today. Event ends January 4th.
The 1993 NASCAR season was one wild ride. Now you can relive the excitement of all 30 Winston Cup races by ordering the 1993 NASCAR Year in Review home video. For just $19.98, you can experience the triumph at Daytona, the battle for the point championship, and the rookie season of the stars of tomorrow. To order, call 1-800-764-5441 or send $19.98 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
Okay, class, if a pizza with 3 toppings costs $10.99, what would I pay for 6 toppings?
$12.99, $15.99, $18.99.
Well, anyone? $10.99.
Huh?
The reason is...
It's Bigfoot! It's the Bigfoot Big 6 Pizza. Get our special 6 toppings for the 3-topping price of $10.99.
Are you sure you're the Pizza Hut guy?
Bigfoot from Pizza Hut, a legendary value.
It's decision-making time in New Britain, Connecticut.
Wow, look at the socket set.
You see, New Britain's the home of Stanley.
What do you think? The electric stapler or the screwdriver set?
And while it's no easy task,
Glue gun? What glue gun?
making the best possible products all year long,
oh yeah, Moms love these things.
it's even tougher deciding
I just don't know.
which makes the best gift.
Does he have a Stanley garage door opener?
Doesn't everybody?
Look for great gift ideas at the Stanley Gift Center at leading retailers.
Welcome back to NASCAR 93. The Winston Cup Stars ended the month of February at Rockingham, North Carolina. With the media circus of Daytona over and the newness of the season starting to wear off, it was time to begin the long grind of determining a champion. TNN kicked off its season's coverage with the Goodwrench 500, where we saw the opening round of what would be a season-long battle between the men in black, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt. Mark Martin's Ford started on the pole, but he lost the front spot to Ernie Irvin on lap 1. Didn't bother Martin. He jumped right underneath, took it right back. Further back, Kyle Petty, a man usually up front at Rockingham, was moving up from 11th starting spot. When Ernie Irvin came to the pits with worn tires, the door opened for Dale Earnhardt. Working his way toward the front, here he slides off Mike Waltrip to chase down Mark Martin for the lead. Kyle Petty's season of frustration continues. Leaving the pits, his transmission locks in gear. And the Savco team is forced to repair a clutch slave cylinder. The first half of the race saw only 3 cautions. Ted Musgrave in 55 bumps Jeff Bodine. Dale Jarrett slows down and was hit by Rick Wilson. Further back, rookie Kenny Wallace slows down in the smoke and is nailed by Darrell Waltrip. Just past halfway, all eyes are on the dark duo, Wallace and Earnhardt. They were running second and third behind Ernie Irvin and headed toward the front. The day's 4th caution was a near miss for Irvin. Don Chapman gets loose in turn number 3. Irvin scoots away. Rusty Wallace worked himself up from 10th starting spot with help from his pit crew, beat other teams off pit road, and finally took the lead 270 miles into the 500-mile race, to the delight of crew chief Buddy Parrott.
I've been talking about this crew, and so is Rusty in preseason. Right there was a 1740 for 4 tires. That's kind of unheard of, but I'll tell you what, these guys are doing a great job.
Wallace had the lead, but he had his hands full with Harry Gant. High Groove Harry went past Rusty on, of course, the outside to take the lead. Harry would give it up on the next round of pit stops and then exit the race with oil pump failure just 33 laps from the finish. That left the chase to Earnhardt and Irvin. They should get close, but not close enough.
Man, I drove my heart out that last 50 laps. I was going to try to catch him. I run him down, and he'd get away from me. I done everything I could do. He just was too much for me.
Rusty was not to be stopped. The Rockingham victory made for a quick comeback from his Daytona crash.
Well, the key was the pit stops. I mean, these guys were working out back at the shop, and they were so bullet fast in the pits, it was unreal. And then good comeback after a flip at Daytona, I'll tell you that. It's been a dry spell, you know. So Kyle's usually in this victory lane with a Pontiac, and so since he had problems, I'm back here subbing for him, I guess, because this was the victory that we needed for a long time.
It had been a long time. It was Rusty's first superspeedway win since 1991, the first of many times the Penske South pit crew could claim the assist in 93. Earnhardt, meanwhile, found himself atop the Winston Cup points for the first time since his 91 title season. The Winston Cup circus moved on to Richmond, Virginia, where pit crews would again be the story. Daytona winning car owner Joe Gibbs quit as coach of the Washington Redskins to spend time with his family and his Winston Cup race team. The Pontiac Excitement 400 lived up to its name. Darrell Waltrip, number 17, and Kyle Petty battled for the first half of the race, swapping the lead 3 times. Then Davey Allison joined the fun. His Robert Yates crew moved him to the front during a caution caused by Bill Elliott's Ford. As the race wore on, Waltrip dropped to 8th as the handling went away. After the restart, Allison controlled the action. Behind him, Kyle Petty and Rusty Wallace would battle for second. All 3 pit crews kept their drivers in the hunt and would play a hand in the outcome. Petty made the first move. He tried to pressure the other crews by stopping early under green for only 2 tires. But a miscommunication with a substitute gas man for injured Jerry Schweitz cost the team 6 extra seconds. Took the pressure off the Yates and Penske crews. Allison and Wallace had flawless 4-tire stops and stayed out front. Davey led all but 5 of the last 157 laps. Became the 3rd different winner in as many races. Wallace held on for second while Petty dropped to an infuriating 5th. 4th for Dale Jarrett moved him 1 point ahead of Dale Earnhardt in the standings. 1 week later, Old Man Winter made a counterattack on Spring, and the Southeast was caught in the crossfire. The blizzard of 93 moved the Motorcraft 500 back a week. The teams were happy to get out of Atlanta without frostbite. Rusty Wallace again looked strong, claiming his first pole of the year. But Jeff Gordon also ran very stout. Here he passes a loose-running Dale Earnhardt for 3rd. But it was Mark Martin's number 6-4, asserting himself at the front. After a 6th, a 5th, and a 7th place finish in the first 3 outings, Martin dominated the first 2/3 of this race, leading 140 of the first 225 laps. The day's worst crash took out the Winston Cup champion, Alan Kulwicki, in number 7. After getting into Jeff Bodine, he spins up into the wall and then is hammered by a sliding Dick Trickle. Both drivers were okay. On lap 225, the engine in Mark Martin's Ford expired, and Mark coasted into the garage. Rookie Jeff Gordon found himself up front and battling Rusty Wallace for the lead. Got some bad news on the radio from crew chief Ray Evernham.
We're going to go to lap 3:15, and then we're just going to do a gas and go. We're only going to do a stop and go. Does the car feel good, buddy? Is the car good? No, it's dying.
Rusty Wallace, though, tried to force the issue with an early 2-tire stop, moving Morgan Shepherd up to 2nd place. Shepherd's number 21 Ford had made up a lap earlier after cutting a tire. With 12 laps to go, Gordon comes to pit road. Here's how it went.
That's it. Bring it in nice and slow, nice and slow. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Stop. Stop, stop.
Oh, he's over the line.
No, man, no.
Over the line.
No.
Go, 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 go.
Coasted in just a little too far, and it became a 9.5-second pit stop. That miscue cost Jeff Gordon not only the win, but a top 3 finish. Morgan Shepherd held off Ernie Irvin and Rusty Wallace to take his 4th Winston Cup victory and his 3rd win at Atlanta for the Wood brothers. Earnhardt goes back atop the point standings, while Wallace has moved up to 3rd, and Gordon stays in the top 5. 4 races into the season, as many different drivers had visited Victory Lane, Dale Earnhardt was not yet among them. That would change in Darlington. After 2 seconds, a 10th and an 11th, the Childress team turned things around. From the pole, Dale scored the 55th win of his career. As the racers gathered in Bristol, Tennessee for Series Round 5, tragedy struck. An airplane crash claimed the life of the reigning Winston Cup champion, Alan Kulwicki. The crash site was just 6 miles from the Tri-Cities airport. Alan and 3 colleagues were returning from a personal appearance. News of his death shocked the racing community.
I went to the garage today and talked to all the guys, or as many as I could. It's like everybody wishes they could say goodbye.
After great success on the ASA circuit, Alan sold everything and moved south to join the Winston Cup Series in 1986. Alan owned the team, ran the team, made the chassis settings, called race strategy, and drove the car. He was truly unique. His single-minded pursuit of perfection resulted in the 1992 Winston Cup. We remember him with honor, as does someone who raced against him from the beginning, Mark Martin.
It's just, you know, hard to believe that after all that time that, you know, that he won't be there anymore and won't be there to irritate me, you know, to knock us off the pole when we were sure we had it, or to, you know, I mean, it always felt good if we squeezed by him and he was on the outside pole. I mean, you knew you'd beat the best, you know. Alan was, he was really a special guy, and I was so proud for him to win the championship in '92, and he knew that, and I think that meant a lot to him, and it meant something to me.
Now available on home video cassette, 30 great one-punch knockouts, volumes 1 and 2. These 2 videos are your ringside seat as great champions pound their opponents and send them crashing to the canvas. Over 60 minutes of action. Call now and you'll also receive Stock Car's Greatest Crashes. Over 100 metal-crunching, debris-flying smash-ups. Through this special TV offer, order now and you'll get a 4th video free. The Tropical Swimsuit Spectacular is a feast for the eyes. The hottest and sexiest models bare their tans and take you behind the scenes for an exotic photo shoot. All 4 exciting videos are yours through this special TV offer only.
To order, call now, 1-800-762-9200. A $50 retail value. All 4 videos are yours for only $29.95. Call now, 1-800-762-9200.
Robert, we're ready. Okay. Got it warmed up? Yeah.
Before a Robert Yates engine makes it to the track, it's torture tested right here.
Well, let's do it.
And there's only one motor oil Yates relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can buy right off the shelf.
215 degrees, 8,700. That's race ready.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Running like a winner. That'll get the job done.
Got to be a full moon.
Not. Bass bite better in the
full moon, Rod.
on dough balls.
The jig and pig catches the big one.
Fishing experts are an independent breed, and no two ever seem to agree.
Spinnerbait. Crankbait. Spinnerbait.
Except when it comes to TNN's fishing team, Team TNN. They all agree. TNN Outdoors is where the action is.
Walleyes. Walleyes. I like largemouth. We got saltwater catfish. Have them all. Largemouth.
Welcome back to our review of the 93 season. Dale Earnhardt's Darlington win served a wake-up call to the Rusty Wallace team. After their 34th place finish at Daytona, they needed some victories, and the Penske South crew responded, ripping off their first win streak of the 93 season. 3 straight on the short tracks at Bristol, North Wilkesboro, and Martinsville. 8 races into the season, Wallace had won half of them and had the point lead. It was beginning to look like a repeat of his championship year, 1989. After the season's first short track swing, some teams were looking to change their luck. And Rusty's would change more than he could imagine. In a chilling near replay of his Daytona flip, Wallace went end over end at Talladega, breaking his wrist and nearly his chances for a championship. Ernie Irvan won the Winston 500. From Talladega, the circuit changed coasts and directions to Sears Point, California, and the first right turn road race of the season. In a last lap shootout, Jeff Bodine picked up the victory, capping a tremendous week for him, in which he also completed his purchase of the Alan Kulwicki race team. The rest of the month of May was spent right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Winston and the Coke 600. Earnhardt's string of success started in the All-Star event he's made all his own. The Winston is stock car racing's answer to the shootout at OK Corral. Pays no points, but big money. The final 10-lap segment means $200,000 to the winner. This year, fireworks were all verbal after the race. This Terry Labonte spin with 2 laps to go set up the controversial finish. The All-Star race rules allow a double file restart. The first was called back because Earnhardt jumped it. He got a second chance, which upset some competitors. On this restart, Earnhardt won a 175-mile-an-hour side-by-side game of chicken with Mark Martin. Turn 3, Dale wavered, but hung on and ran away with his 3rd win and all that cash. His 3 wins over the event's 9-year history have netted the man in black over $977,000. The culmination of Charlotte Speed Weeks, the Coca-Cola 600. If the competitors thought Dale stole one in the Winston, he got no breaks in the series' longest event. For the first time, the race was started late in the day and finished after dark, symbolic for Earnhardt's crew. The racing early was frantic. Brett Bodine didn't get to enjoy it. He dropped out after 5 laps with a broken crankshaft. Jeff Bodine, Ernie Irvan, Mark Martin, Kenny Schrader's number 25, Morgan Shepherd, and Earnhardt all swapped the lead 15 times in the first 100 laps. Then things started to get tough for the Goodwrench team. Earnhardt was penalized 15 seconds for exceeding the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit down pit road. That put Dale 1 lap down. He got lucky a lap later when Rusty Wallace spun and brought out the caution. On the restart, Earnhardt streaked to the front and got back on the lead lap. But one comeback was not enough to impress the 120,000 fans. With 57 laps to go and Dale Jarrett in the lead, Earnhardt was 15 seconds behind and had been trying to pass Greg Sachs for 6 laps. Right in front of race officials, they got together, and Sachs spun, almost taking Earnhardt with him. During the ensuing pit stop, despite the protests of Richard Childress and Andy Petrie, Dale was penalized a lap for rough riding. On the restart, Dale had the look of a man who would not be denied. With 50 laps to go, Earnhardt's comeback was aided by Rusty Wallace's second spin. When Wallace cut a tire, his broken wrist from Talladega wouldn't help him keep his Pontiac off the wall. This was a horrible break for his title chances and a boon for Earnhardt. Mark Martin's 93 bad luck continued. He was forced out of the race when a lug nut punctured his radiator. 8 laps after the restart, Dale's second comeback was complete. No penalty could stand in his way. After passing Ernie Irvan and Kenny Schrader, Dale was unstoppable. Rookie Jeff Gordon tried to keep pace when he passed Schrader for second, but could get no closer than 3 seconds from Earnhardt at the finish. Dale Jarrett beat Ken Schrader in a photo finish for 3rd. Dale's win gave him a lead he would never give up in the Winston Cup point standing. Earnhardt's will to win carried over from Charlotte to the Monster Mile at Dover, Delaware. Dover can bite you anytime, as pole sitter Ernie Irvin found out in the final practice. After conferring with officials, Irvin decided to start his backup car last in the field. The pre-race news for Rusty Wallace was much better.
I got a great car underneath me, and Dr. Trammell said, hey, Rusty, take the brace off. You don't need it any longer. You're healed up. Go after him. Throw it away.
Once the 42-car field was underway, Rusty's fortunes did not match his good health. He was running second 18 laps into the race when he had to pit for a cut tire. As Rusty was leaving the pits, Greg Sachs and Bill Elliott caused the day's first caution with a turn 4 tangle. Jeff Gordon and Harry Gant brought out the second caution. Kyle Petty barely missed the wreck. And that was the break Wallace needed to get back on the lead lap. Trouble also beset Dale Earnhardt. He too cut a tire while leading. That cost him a lap while in the pits. At lap 129, he got his back by passing Mark Martin. No sooner had Dale gone by than Ernie Irvin took the lead from Martin, completing a last-to-first comeback. The lead was short-lived. A burned piston knocked Irvin out of contention. By halfway, Wallace and Earnhardt had used a record-tying 9 caution flags to work back to the front, with Rusty first and Dale second. 4 cautions later, Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip got together. An upset Waltrip got the worst of it as he smacked the outside wall. On the restart, Earnhardt and Wallace were joined by Mark Martin. Martin got under Wallace, but got loose. That sent Rusty hard into the outside wall, and then Jimmy Hensley lost it. Ran into Wallace's door. The final blow came from Jeff Bodine. Luckily, all 3 were okay. Over the race's final 60 laps, Dale Jarrett charged up into second, but there was no catching Earnhardt on this day. Dale met the Dover Challenge with his second straight and 3rd win of the year. That string by Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace's 3-race tailspin turned the title chase around. In 1 month, Dale built a 209-point lead over Rusty and a consistent Dale Jarrett. Rusty had not given up, as we'll see later. He had many more wins in his bag of tricks for '93.
My best memory is Sears Point. After my wife and I purchased this team, we went to Sears Point the very next weekend, won the race. And the feeling of doing that, being able to make the backwards lap and out around, made us feel really special, and it was very sad, but I was glad I could do that.
There's a little rugged individualist in all of us, and nothing brings that out quite like a truck. And nobody brings you a truck quite like Chevrolet. Make your money count on CK with low 4.9% APR financing until January 4th. After all, Chevy trucks are the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Being rugged could really catch on, don't you think? Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today. Event ends January 4th.
What began on a beach at Nascar Winston Cup racing. Now see how it all got started in this thrilling home video. From Thunder Road to Victory Lane, the NASCAR story is the first of a 4-volume set and a must for every fan. To order, call 1-800-764-5441 or send $19.98 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown on your screen. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
There are thousands of uses for new Goodwrench non-flammable super lubricant with Teflon around the home, car, and shop. Why take chances? Look at WD-40 when sprayed at an open flame. Now, the new Goodwrench. If flammability is important to you, Goodwrench non-flammable is your only choice, and it saves you money, too. Goodwrench non-flammable stops squeaks, protects, and lubricates. Available at retailers everywhere.
What drives Rusty Wallace?
I'm a competitor. I always want to win, and second's not near good enough. And I remember I used to just dream about this stuff. I was kind of a motorhead, too, and man, we were in zeros. We raced the local dirt tracks. Never thought we'd be where we are right now. It's a little weird, I guess, but I have a damn good time doing what I do, and I really enjoy it.
Rusty Wallace and TNN Motorsports. When it comes to live NASCAR racing, no one plays as hard.
Power plays on TNN Motorsports.
TNN rocks in the new year with country great Lee Greenwood. Sawyer Brown and Deborah Allen. New Year's Eve at SeaWorld live on TNN New Year's Eve night.
It's Garth Brooks. Now, for the first time ever, an exclusive gift box of his record-breaking tour is available only through this sensational TV offer. It's the Garth on Tour package. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. 85 minutes of the full concert experience, plus in-depth interviews and performances of his greatest hits. The Garth on Tour collection contains this gift-size edition of the award-winning tour book, the signature photo, and the sold-out concert ticket. And you can receive his #1 multi-platinum album, The Chase. The Garth on Tour package is not available in any store, but can be ordered exclusively through this TV offer for only $39.95. This limited collector's edition is sure to sell out fast, so don't delay. Order now.
Use your credit card and call 1-800-203-2700 or send $39.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to Garth on Tour, P.O. Box 129002, Nashville, Tennessee. Or call toll-free 1-800-203-2700.
If you're enjoying the highlights of our TNN NASCAR 93 recap, you'll want to have the entire season to add to your home video library. Call today for NASCAR 93, the home video. Dial 1-800-764-5441. Welcome back to NASCAR 93. After 3 great performances, Dale Earnhardt took a back seat to 2 drivers who'd been down on their luck. At Pocono, Kyle Petty led 148 of the 200 laps, ending the frustration that had dogged him since Daytona. Rusty Wallace's luck was no better than it had been. Losing an engine after only 4 laps, Rusty dropped to 5th in the points, 298 behind Earnhardt. For Pocono, it was on to Michigan in the shadow of Detroit and the Big 3 automakers. The Miller 400 gave the season its 9th different winner. Many thought that winner would be Mark Martin. Martin has 1 Michigan win, and Fords have won 12 of the last 18 races there. At the start, it was Chevy driver Ricky Rudd putting his number 5 out front. That lasted till one of the day's few cautions was brought out by Jimmy Horton. Despite the impact of the flames, Horton was uninjured. On the restart, Martin asserted himself, putting Dale Earnhardt in his rearview mirror. That's where the field stayed most of the day. Mark moved through traffic at will on his way to leading 141 of the 200 laps. But with these long green flag runs, fuel economy is as important as speed. And while Mark had them covered on speed, the Chevys had the fuel mileage edge. Late in the race, Mark ran on borrowed time and gas fuel. He desperately needed a caution to top off his tank for the finish. His crew waited in vain. The caution never came. And Mark coasted to the pits out of gas with 8 laps to go. His fuel gamble opened the door for Ricky Rudd and the GM contingent. Rudd took his first Michigan win on a day when he announced he'll form his own team next year. The Mark Martin miscue opened the GM floodgates as 4 Chevys and a Pontiac filled the top 5. The season's traditional midpoint is back in Daytona Beach for the 4th of July holiday weekend Pepsi 400. Dale Earnhardt scored his 4th victory and solidified his stranglehold on the point standings. Earnhardt's Pepsi 400 win left him 251 points ahead of his closest pursuer. 7th in that point standings, the leading rookie so far, Jeff Gordon. He got off to the best start of the trio of graduates from the Busch Grand National Series. That tour's former titleist Bobby Labonte, younger brother of Terry, and Kenny Wallace, Rusty's little brother. The rookie battle of '93 was hyped as the best since the class of '79 that featured Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt, and Terry Labonte. While Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace each grabbed their share of attention at Daytona, it was Jeff Gordon who stole the show, winning his 125-mile qualifier and finishing 5th in the 500.
The first day of practice, we went out, the car was extremely fast right from the start. You know, and I didn't ever think that when we went into that Twin 125 that we were going to have a chance at winning it. We kind of went into the Twin 125, get in line, let's ride, finish this race, get into the Daytona 500 and go from there. But we're kind of a little bit different than what we had planned.
Being rookies means paying dues. Kenny got to pay some of his at the end of the Pontiac Excitement 400 in Richmond.
I had carbon monoxide level of over 13 or 14. I didn't know where I was on the racetrack, and had too much pride to say, hey, I got to get out of this car. You run 400 laps and get tagged right here comes for the checkered flag. So it was totally embarrassing, but I was so out of it, I didn't know what was going on, you know.
In contrast, Bobby's high point came at the second Richmond race when he captured his first Winston Cup pole.
Knew before qualifying we had a pretty good chance to be in the top 5, and felt real good about it and went out there and qualified on the pole. And just, again, it didn't take very much to be either hero or zero in this deal, and we were the hero for once.
Not to be outdone, Jeff captured his first pole just 1 month later under the lights at Charlotte.
It was just, you know, a night that I'm never going to forget. It wasn't about, you know, winning the money and the tractor and the trophies. It was just having that feeling inside you that you've just sat on a pole. You've just been the fastest guy out of anybody else out here, the best stock car drivers in the world, and you just beat them for one lap. You know, it only took one lap, but I tell you, it was awesome.
Awesome is a good word to describe the '93 season of Jeff Gordon. Finishing second at Daytona, Michigan, and Charlotte proved Jeff's on-track consistency. His one pole, his win in the 125-miler, and his 11 top 10 finishes gave this youngster from Indiana one more award, the Max Race Cars Rookie of the Year Award for '93.
Daytona, I think, because it was the first race of the year and it's such a big race, I would say that one sticks in my mind the most. I mean, it was just an incredible week. My life changed in a matter of hours, overnight, just about.
They say what you drive says a lot about you. If you wanted to say all the right things, Chevrolet and Geo can do just that. Right now, get to know Geo Prism for only $189 a month for 36 months. And you'll get dual airbags, AM/FM stereo, AC, and more. So that makes you good-looking, secure, and intelligent. Says all the right things to me. Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today.
Today, Michael White is having a lunch meeting in Indonesia without even leaving town.
This is your life.
Mary Kaplan is keeping things moving at her office, even though she's going nowhere fast.
This is your world.
With everything from local to long distance to cellular, it's easy to see why Sprint is the choice of millions who need to be there now.
Be there now. Life won't wait. Be there now.
Americans have always had a love affair with their cars.
Do you love? Who do you love? Yeah, who do you love?
And when it comes to plugs and filters, we guarantee to keep that spark going for a long, long time.
Do you love? Yeah, who do you love?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. Please fasten your seatbelts for takeoff, and remember, this is a smoking flight. On behalf of the entire crew, thank you for flying TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back to NASCAR 93. For many years, NASCAR racing was considered just a Southeast regional sport. But now the Tour goes coast to coast and almost from Maine to Florida. Its new northernmost excursion, the Granite State. Bob Bear's beautiful New Hampshire International Speedway and the inaugural Slick 50 300. New England race fans have been waiting forever for their Winston Cup heroes to arrive. So 75,000 fans turned out to welcome those drivers up north. At the drop of the green, pole sitter Mark Martin set the pace as he had at Michigan. The first caution came early. Ken Schrader tagged Jeff Burton. They do a synchronized spin. Ernie Irvin gets together, and then it's everybody in. Rusty Wallace started 33rd and had a lot to prove. If he was to challenge Earnhardt for the Winston Cup title, he needed to get on track here in New Hampshire. Enter the Penske South pit crew. They consistently turned in under 18-second stops, helping Rusty leapfrog to the front. 100 laps into the race, Wallace had cracked the top 5 and was headed for the lead. But up front, Sterling Marlin, who dominated early race action, puts Earnhardt on the receiving end. And this spin kind of sums up Earnhardt's afternoon. By halfway, it was a 3-car race. Marlin, Davey Allison, and Wallace. A yellow for trash on the track gave the Miller crew a chance to shine again. They were up to the task with a 17-second stop for fuel and 4 tires. And Rusty was up front when the green waved again. 33rd to first was a great drive by a very motivated Rusty Wallace.
I was really up for the game, so to speak. I was really wired up, and I was pumped up, and I was trying to do everything right. And I was driving with such aggressiveness. When they see me coming, some of them just moved out of the way, and so it was a good deal.
Another caution for debris set up the final pit road showdown between the Penske crew and Robert Yates' team. Rusty's boys got the job done first, again in under 18 seconds. Once out front, Wallace ran untouched toward the checkered flag. Behind him, pole sitter Martin stayed ahead of Allison, but there was no staying with Rusty Wallace. Wallace wins again and is quick to share the credit with his crew.
We needed that last caution, and the guys, as usual, put a can of whoop-you-know-what on them in the pit stop.
As we saw at New Hampshire, the Penske South team under Buddy Parrott have raised the art of the pit stop to a new standard. In the helter-skelter world of the pits, the Miller crew bested the rest week after week. They were the first to consistently break the 18-second mark. As Brad Parrott tells us, the key is focus.
The whole team is mentally focused on Rusty coming down pit road. You know, we're looking for Rusty. Where's he at? We're ready for a pit stop, you know. Every pit stop, we say, hey, there's going to be another stop. Let's do it better.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. The other keys are preparation and organization. No detail is left to chance with the equipment or personnel. This team kept Rusty in good track position all year, and they won the Unocal Pit Crew World Championship. What motivates these guys?
The biggest thing has probably been the fans. You know, you look and you come down pit road second or third, and you be there, all these guys out of pits, and you look up in the stands, and the fans are going crazy. You know, they're all up on the stands cheering every time one team beats another team out of the pits, and most of the time it's been us beating teams out.
That coordinated team effort would help us climb right back into the thick of the point standings, but not before the NASCAR family would suffer another devastating loss. We were shocked by news that Davey Allison had crashed his new helicopter while visiting Neil Bonnett at a Talladega test session. Davey died from injuries sustained in the crash, while longtime family friend Red Farmer was also seriously injured. Davey's death was especially difficult for his dad Bobby and mother Judy, who had lost both their racing sons within 11 months of one another.
We appreciate the press and all the fans and people around the country. It's been tough.
Bobby and Judy, I mean, I have 2 kids, and I couldn't do what they're doing. They're holding up well, but it's God has really asked a lot of them.
Davey Allison left us as one of the sport's rising young stars. Davey's first super speedway race, speedway win, and Winston Cup win all came at Talladega. We will miss him and wonder what he might have accomplished.
There's a little rugged individualist in all of us, and nothing brings that out quite like a truck. And nobody brings you a truck quite like Chevrolet. Make your money count on CK. with low 4.9% APR financing until January 4th. After all, Chevy trucks are the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Being rugged could really catch on, don't you think? Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today. Event ends January 4th.
The 1993 NASCAR season was one wild ride. Now you can relive the excitement of all 30 Winston Cup races by ordering the 1993 NASCAR Year in Review home video. For just $19.98, you can experience the triumph at Daytona, the battle for the point championship, and the rookie season of the stars of tomorrow. To order, call 1-800-764-5441 or send $19.98 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
Unbelievable, spectacular, breathtaking, crash impact. 60 minutes of blazing crash action in this special edition 2-volume set. See outrageous motocross and road racing action, sprint cars and outlaws, Grand Prix, stock cars, monster trucks, powerboats, and more. Only $19.95. This exclusive 2-tape set is jam-packed with magnificent racing and crash action footage featuring top drivers from around the world. Order now and get absolutely free. Havoc 1, over 45 minutes of rare footage, including some of the most thrilling and horrifying moments that made early racing history. You'll get this incredible 2-tape offer, plus your Havoc video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-544-6664. That's 1-800-544-6664. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3.95 for shipping and handling.
With heavy hearts, the Winston Cup drivers come to Pocono for a second time this season. Dale Earnhardt outduels Rusty Wallace to score his 5th victory of the season. 1 week later, everyone loads up and heads for the scene of Davey Allison's crash, Talladega. It was a day filled with emotion. Neil Bonnett came out of retirement to race again, and young IndyCar star Robbie Gordon had big shoes to fill in the Robert Yates team. Over 100,000 fans fell silent in memory of their local hero. Liz Allison, Davey's widow, courageously thanked fans for their outpouring of love and support. And 42 drivers tried to race the heartbreak away. On lap 56, Robbie Gordon got too low in the tri-oval and went spinning up into traffic. Luckily, Gordon didn't take anyone with him and escaped with only wounded pride. 14 laps later, 7 cars were involved in one of the wildest, weirdest wrecks in Talladega history. Jimmy Horton's Chevrolet is gone. Out of the park, down to the dirt access road. Horton climbed away uninjured. But Stanley Smith was critically hurt and is still recovering. They put the welcome mat out for Neil Bonnett, then jerked it and the pavement out from under him. His Chevrolet got into the tri-oval catch fencing after a collision with Ted Musgrave. Bonnett sustained only a bump on the elbow and finished the race from the TV booth. Catch fence damage caused a 1-hour delay. In typical Talladega fashion, it came down to a photo finish. Winston 500 winner Ernie Irvan battled Dale Earnhardt, Kyle Petty looking for win number 2, and Mark Martin still looking for his first of the year. Earnhardt had the top of the racetrack and a little more momentum coming out of the tri-oval. Here it's Irvan, but down here where it counts, Earnhardt by inches.
I was fortunate to beat him. I got side to side with Ernie, and Mark got in there behind Ernie and was trying to push him, and Kyle was behind me, and I had to go back down the bottom and suck off the side of Ernie's car to beat him back just about inches. That's all it takes.
Dale Earnhardt's 2-race win streak came to an end on the road course at Watkins Glen, New York. More overdue than yesterday's train, Mark Martin kicked off a streak of his own. In 5 years of racing with the Jack Roush team, Mark Martin had won 7 races. Suddenly, Mark was unbeatable, winning 4 straight Winston Cup events and 2 Busch Grand National races.
I mean, it didn't seem like it was really happening. It's the same races that we were running earlier in the season and getting finished with and saying, man, what do we have to do to win one of these things? almost became, are we ever going to lose one?
Those victories were sweet payback for earlier in the season.
It was kind of paying us back for some of the losses that we had experienced since August of '92. We had so many races that we should have had in the bag, and it just seemed like we couldn't win a race. And so it was our time, and it just came all in a kind of a row.
Mark is in good company as the 6th modern driver to win 4 straight. Many credit Mark's intensity.
I've always been that way from when I was really, really little. When I got into something, I was in all the way. So the things that I don't, know a lot about, or I'm not comfortable with, usually I tend to stay away, and I concentrate on things that I enjoy and that motivate me.
As the sun set in Richmond, Virginia, Mark Martin was looking for a 5th straight win, starting in 10th position. Rookie pole sitter Bobby Labonte had his hands full from the start with Ernie Irvin, and the other man on a mission, Rusty Wallace. Rusty needed victories if he was going to catch Earnhardt in the points. Further back, Martin was looking to keep his win streak alive, passing the point leader Earnhardt on his way to the front. First to fall off the pace was Irvin. Blown engine brought out caution number 1. After the restart, Wallace was assessed a stop-and-go penalty for brake checking the field. That left the battle to Martin and Darrell Waltrip in number 17. Waltrip had struggled all year, but this looked like the old title-winning Darrell. Worst wreck of the day, Dick Trickle and Rick Wilson in the Richard Petty car. This incident summed up both drivers' seasons to date. Out front, Martin had an iron grip on the lead, but behind him a familiar chorus was sounding. Wallace was making a comeback using lightning-fast pit work and aggressive on-track moves. Rusty soon had his mark in his sights. Mark Martin, that is, who'd led 145 of the first 266 laps. But Wallace was daring in traffic. As if drawn by unseen forces of the night, he knifed his black car past Mark in a round, slower machine. Once out in front, he would not surrender the lead. Further back, Ricky Rudd and Derek Cope get together while battling with Bill Elliott. Then Rudd's night got worse as he slammed into Dale Earnhardt exiting the pits. Over the final 50 laps, Bill Elliott put on his best show of the year, but didn't have quite enough for Wallace, who won his season's 6th race. After the Richmond win, Wallace took his aggressive run at the front attitude with him to Dover. He qualified fastest and jumped out early. Hounded by Jeff Gordon, Rusty led 195 of the first 265 laps. That aggressiveness would cause controversy later for both drivers. Tire pressures were the big story. Many teams tried running lower air pressure than Goodyear recommended. That caused a rash of cut tires and crashes. The worst one was Mark Martin. He smacked the turn 2 wall and caught fire after cutting down a right front tire. Those tire pressure games also caught up with Wallace. While he was lucky not to crash, an unscheduled trip to the pits cost him 2 laps. After getting one of those laps back on his own, Rusty got a big break when Jeff Gordon and Jeff Bodine got together. Bodine ended up in the wall. Gordon was able to continue. But the big controversy of the day came on the restart. Watch the left side of number 27 Hut Strickland as Strickland and Wallace described what happened next.
One deal was coming from second to third, and I guess I wasn't fast enough coming from second to third there or something. I don't know what happened, but yeah, he caught me in the back and just turned me around. I don't know, took out a bunch of cars.
I took on a normal restart, and the 27 car just didn't go. I tapped him in the rear and turned him sideways, and when he turned him sideways, he got with the 3 car. And when the 3 car went, that's what made all the noise. That's what got all the press right there, that one there. So it's too bad it happened. I mean, I didn't mean for it to happen, but that's it.
Ricky Rudd's strong chance to win was over, while the Goodwrench crew worked feverishly to get Earnhardt back out for a 27th place finish. With 20 laps to go, Wallace took the lead from Darrell Waltrip, and his comeback was complete. Rusty held off Ken Schrader's late race charge for his 7th win of the year. And in tribute to the man he raced against for so many years in Winston Cup and ASA, Wallace honors the memory of Alan Kulwicki with a Kulwicki victory lap the wrong way around Dover Down. That win moved Rusty within legitimate striking range of Earnhardt with 6 races remaining in the Winston Cup season.
Well, you know, when we broke the ice at Watkins Glen and won the road race for Merck, had been so dominant and on the racetrack, and we had our terrible problem with the lug nuts in the pits. You know, that was the best and the worst of human emotions. You know, if there's anything weak about your psychic or about your body, you know, that would definitely tear you apart. But that was the most pungent memory that I'll carry forward.
Now available on home video cassette. 30 great one-punch knockouts, volumes 1 and 2. These 2 videos are your ringside seat as great champions pound their opponents and send them crashing to the canvas. Over 60 minutes of action. Call now and you'll also receive Stock Car's Greatest Crashes. Over 100 metal-crunching, debris-flying smash-ups. Through this special TV offer, order now and you'll get a 4th video free. The Tropical Swimsuit Spectacular is a feast for the eyes. The hottest and sexiest models bare their tans and take you behind the scenes for an exotic photo shoot. All 4 exciting videos are yours through this special TV offer only.
To order, call now, 1-800-762-9200. A $50 retail value. All 4 videos are yours for only $29.95. Call now, 1-800-762-9200.
What's up, Helen? Guess I've had this whole Stanley about 6 years now. Boys, been through it. Been dropped, run over, beat up. You name it, it's been through it. There's not another thermos anywhere that can take it like this one. See what I mean?
The Aladdin Stanley All-Steel Thermos, guaranteed for life.
The real triumph of this year's newest sleek Euro design is how much fun it gives to the gallon. Introducing the all-new water-saving shower massage. What drives Darrell Waltrip?
I like to compete against the other guys. Your skills against the other guy's skills. Out-drive, out-think, outsmart, whatever. It's a real chess game for me. And I get a big thrill out of that. I love racing. I can't think of a better way to make a living. I never want to do anything else.
Darrell Waltrip and TNN Motorsports. When it comes to live NASCAR racing, no one plays as hard.
Power plays on TNN Motorsports.
Hello, I'm Mike the Magician, and if you want to make your Christmas shopping easier than ever, I have just the trick. Call for your free Opryland USA Gifts and Collectibles catalog. It's plumb full of great gift ideas like this CMT ball cap. Or how about this little mini pearl collectible plate? Just call 1-800-677-9112 and the catalog will appear in your mailbox. Then you can order these beautiful country items, like this little Santa. Or how about this Christmas playing music box? Just call 1-800-677-9112 and the catalog is on its way. Well, you can even order this TNN jacket. How about these country cassettes and videos? Or this pretty little Ryman Auditorium, folks? It's all right here in the Opryland USA Gifts and Collectibles catalog. So get on the phone and call 1-800-677-9112. Now it's time for my disappearing act. Did it work?
Relive all the great championships with the home video series, The History of NASCAR. Volume 1, From Thunder Road to Victory Lane, is available now. Call 1-800-764-5441. Welcome back to our review of the NASCAR season. At Martinsville, Virginia, Ernie Irvan scored his first win since taking over the ride in Robert Yates Ford. It was a somber victory. Rusty Wallace finished second to keep the pressure on Dale Earnhardt. Then at North Wilkesboro, it was Wallace's turn in victory lane. Earnhardt finished right on his bumper, though, to minimize the damage to his point lead. A packed grandstand awaited the drivers in Charlotte for the Mellow Yellow 500. North Carolina native Randy Travis was on hand to wave the green flag, and when he did, the issue was decided rather quickly. Pole sitter Jeff Gordon surrendered to Ernie Irvan, and Irvan went to the front and stayed there, leading all but 6 of the 334 laps. And one of the title contenders, Dale Earnhardt, moved from 9th to 3rd, while Rusty Wallace climbed from 21st to 4th with 5 laps to go. Those two wrestled with Mark Martin and each other all the way to the finish. Irvan cruised to the checker to celebrate his 2nd win for Robert Yates.
I want to really let everybody know that this whole race team, I want to dedicate this race to Alan Kulwicki in honor of Davey Allison and this whole race team. It's one thing Larry McReynolds told me is he never got to see this car do a Polish victory lap. Now he did, and we're pretty proud of it. You know, to be able to bring them to victory lane again this year is just phenomenal. You know, I wasn't even supposed to be racing over here this year, so a lot of things have happened this year, and this team's just starting. You know, we're on the verge of what we can really get going, and really look forward to the '94 season.
Since Ricky Rudd's Michigan victory in June, only Mark Martin, Ernie Irvan, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Earnhardt had been to victory lane. Would Rockingham be any different? Probably not. Irvan and Martin set the pace early, while Wallace and Earnhardt were stuck in the middle of the pack. Dale qualified 22nd, Rusty 18th. Earnhardt was determined to stop Rusty's comeback in the points chase. Wallace had beaten Dale in 7 of the last 8 races. Both would spend the opening laps carefully moving up. Careful was the key. Here, Jimmy Spencer in number 12 loses a bumper and almost collects both title hopefuls. Dale was the first to reach the front, passing Ernie Irvan after 92 laps. Wallace, meanwhile, was struggling with the handle on his Pontiac and faded to 11th. Whoever figured out this puzzle quickest and best would win the race. During the middle laps, it looked like Jimmy Spencer and Harry Gant had it figured out. They swapped the lead 4 times while other challengers came and went with their handling. Gant would stay in contention all day. Meanwhile, Wallace was quietly working his way back into the hunt. Jimmy Spencer's day went bad when a stripped lug nut forced 2 pit stops to change the left rear tire, and he went 2 laps down. Jimmy Horton spun and crashed to bring out the day's 8th caution and change the complexion of the race. On Saturday, Rusty's crew had won the annual Pit Crew Championship, and they stepped to the front again and got Rusty out ahead of the pack. After the restart, Wallace took over the race, leading all but 2 of the last 180 laps. Behind him, Earnhardt was charging hard. He passed Bill Elliott for 2nd, and over the final 10 laps, Dale closed within a 1.5 seconds before he was forced to slow down.
Well, we had a flat tire. The right front was going down the last 10 laps. It was getting slower and slower. And just had to do the best we could do. And even till, just the last lap, it got to where I couldn't drive it. I was going hard as I could.
Wallace sprinted home to his 9th win of the season after a hard day's work.
It took us 300 laps to get the thing right, but we got it right. And doggone it, Earnhardt's right on my bumper again. I'll tell you. The guy's, he's tough, no doubt about it. He's making it hard for me.
After Rockingham, only 72 points separated Earnhardt and Wallace. The 2 drivers faced off for their final TNN showdown at Phoenix. From the start, Mark Martin was the man to beat. Nothing was going to stand in Earnhardt's way. Not Kenny Schrader, who gets helped into the wall at lap 5. Wallace sent Earnhardt a wake-up call by leading lap number 20 and getting 5 bonus points. But the push in Earnhardt's car wouldn't go away. Here, Dale Jarrett narrowly escapes the fate that met Kenny Schrader. And then Lady Luck turned her back on Rusty Wallace. He cut down a right front tire and had to come a full mile to pit road. Quick pit work changing the tire saved Rusty a lap, but then a damaged sway bar mount from the scraping and dragging put Wallace 2 laps down and out of the title chase.
It was a process that was taking a lot longer. And when I looked out and I got trapped in the pits and I got lapped, it's like the world went in slow motion all of a sudden. I just sunk, I thought. And I'm watching that 3 car out there running 10 for 12 just out there circling the track, and here I am knowing that I was leading the race and the world's going past me, I'm going, man.
Dale Earnhardt seized the day and made the most of Wallace's misfortune, pressing for the front. On the point, Mark Martin continued to hold off Ernie Irvan as he had all day. Mark led 212 of the 312 laps to take his 5th victory of the season for Jack Roush, while Ernie Irvin continued to look strong in Robert Yates' Ford. Earnhardt's 4th place finish all but slammed the championship door in Wallace's face. Dale left Phoenix only needing a 34th or better finish at Atlanta to clinch the crown. In the season finale at Atlanta, Rusty Wallace did everything he could, winning his 10th race of the year, while Dale Earnhardt did everything he needed to, and halfway through the race locked up his 6th Winston Cup championship. Here are the final point standings, with Earnhardt just 1 title shy of King Richard Petty's 7 crowns. The battle for the Manufacturers' Cup was closer even than the one between Earnhardt and Wallace. On the final day of the season, Ricky Rudd's top 5 finish secured the Manufacturers' title for Chevrolet.
Well, really all of them, but I think Charlotte weekend was the great one. You know, win the Winston and then win the 600 and be close to home here. I think that was the high point of the career.
They say what you drive says a lot about you. If you wanted to say all the right things, Chevrolet and Geo can do just that. Right now, get to know Geo Prism for only $189 a month for 36 months. And you'll get dual airbags, AM/FM stereo, AC, and more. So that makes you good-looking, secure, and intelligent. Says all the right things to me. Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today.
There's a white star shining under the sun. A determined human star makes the black car run. There's a crowd cheering every brilliant glow. As David takes number 28 high and low. There's danger lurking round every turn. As the courageous human star has learned. But he keeps pushing hard because he knows a blessed checkered flag is waiting to blow.
There are thousands of uses for new Liquid Wrench non-flammable super lubricant with Teflon around your home, car, and shop. If it squeaks, if it rusts, if it needs protection, if it needs lubrication, new Liquid Wrench is the answer. And unlike WD-40, new Liquid Wrench is non-flammable. Liquid Wrench non-flammable stops squeaks, protects and lubricates, and is available at retailers everywhere.
Hey, what's going on down here? Oh, you better watch out.
The 12 videos of Christmas on TNN, the Nashville Network, Christmas Eve.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
When country star Vince Gill returns home to Oklahoma for the holidays, he brings along a few of his closest friends, like Amy Grant, Michael McDonald, Chet Atkins, and all 70 of the Tulsa Philharmonic Orchestra. Oh, and you're invited too. Christmas with Vince Gill, Wednesday on TNN.
If you're enjoying the highlights of our TNN NASCAR 93 recap, you'll want to have the entire season to add to your home video library. Call today for NASCAR 93, the home video. Dial 1-800-764-5441. Certainly Dale Earnhardt got the banner headlines and the big check, but you also saw other NASCAR champions race and win on TNN this season. Steve Grissom battled David Green all season long for the Busch Grand National Championship. Grissom won 3 races during the year, and he took the championship, while Ricky Craven beat David Green on the last day of the season for second. Grissom's winning margin of over 250 points is one of the largest in Busch Series history. Well, my TNN broadcast colleague Neil Bonnett took time out from his busy winter hunting schedule to catch up with the now 6-time Winston Cup champion. Here's Neil with Dale Earnhardt.
Thank you, Mike. Dale, I guess, first of all, congratulations, 93. And we've talked about it a bunch of times, you know, the starting out at the level you started racing, running around all over the country, and then you said you won that first championship, and you really didn't realize what you'd done. Well, hey, this is number 6. You've got to realize what's happening now.
Hard to believe, isn't it? It came around, and, you know, me and you've been hunting and talked about winning races and championships and stuff, and it's still you just Dale Earnhardt and Neil Bonnett doing what you enjoy doing, and then boom, you're champion, then you're 6-time champion. You didn't really set out to do that. You set out to race and win races, and it ends up you win a championship, you win another one, and you know, just life takes you in great places sometimes. But look back on it, it is really unbelievable to be 6-time champion, and really proud of it.
I'll tell you what, you said the first one just kind of happened. You didn't realize what was going on. You're so young. But let me tell you, this one, just like all things, championships seem like the tougher they are, probably the more fun it is. And this year was Rusty. Y'all had a battle all season long. You know, Rusty won a lot of races. You won a bunch of races, and no matter if you were running for first and second or either 19th and 20th, the two of you were right there all
raced hard.
Long.
We raced hard. From the middle half on, it got to be Rusty and Dale, and you know, a couple other guys in our racing for the race. But ended up, Rusty and I were just, you know, if we qualify good, we'd qualify good, or vice versa. You know, we'd be right there close together, and end up racing close to each other. And it was a competitive race through the season. I'd like to have won more of the races, but still, we won the war. We lost a few of the battles, but we won the war.
A lot of championships, there's a lot of media stuff involved, the banner back and forth, but you guys kind of settled it on the racetrack the way it's supposed to be done.
Well, we did, and you know, I think Rusty is a heck of a competitor, and he's gotten stronger over the years, and he's going to be one to reckon with for several years now. And you know, he's matured, he's came along, and he's, you know, it's a privilege, and you know, it's fun to race somebody like that. He brings the competitive side out in me, and I think I do in him. We get more determined to win races and beat each other, and it's a, you know, it's a tough, complicated thing to win a championship and work hard all year long. And you don't know what this race is going to hold for you, that race, and to come down racing somebody you really enjoy racing and all that's pretty neat.
Dale, I know how much you like to race with Rusty, and boy, the fans know it too. You guys hit each other week after week. And then I think I've never saw you as concerned as you were at Talladega. You know, y'all get together right there to finish the race and
thought I wiped him out.
And you know, that really had to.
Well, I think it came from you know, being around Rusty for so many years, and just like you and I are good friends. I race him hard, and I race him just like you and I did. We push and shove on each other and race hard as we go, and we get out of the car and go deer hunting together, not worry about it. And Rusty and I are pretty much the same way. And that deal happened, and there was a lot of my fault and a little bit of his, and you know, we was racing to block each other and race trying to get to the line first, and turned him over. And I was very concerned about him. He'd had a hard crash in Daytona earlier in the year, and I just was very concerned about him. Luckily, he just broke his wrist, and I say just, and that's real lucky to come out of a crash like that and not have anything but a broke wrist. And we put that thing behind us, and fortunately, he could, you know, put it behind him and go on, and we raced hard after that, and he got his composure back after a couple of races and was back at it hard as he could go.
When you look back over '93, it's got to be a lot of high points for you. What was the most memorable win for you that really keyed the season for you?
Well, really all of them, but I think Charlotte weekend was the great one. You know, win the Winston and then win the 600 and be close to home here. I think that was the high point of the career. The memorable one, as far as that we lost Davey in July, and then we turned around and went to Pocono the week after, and that week, and won that race, and remembered him well, and with prayer there on the straightaway with the team after the race, and carried his banner for the lap, victory lap, and that's going to stick in my mind for a long time. Losing Davey in that week, on top of losing Allen at the first of the season, and we were close to that too, because we were flying in, and he was the plane behind us when they crashed. So losing the champion, then turn around losing one of your good friends is really been a tough side of this year. You know, I think they'll be remembered well as what they've accomplished in racing, but I think they'll be remembered as great people because of Allen conquering racing like he did, and sort of on his own, a one-man show. And I know he had a lot of great people helping him, but still Allen was the leader of that band, and to win the championship like he did, I think he's going to be remembered well. And then Davey accomplishing what he has, and I think he was just getting started really in racing. He hadn't really blossomed into a driver like his dad and everything, but I think he's on the verge of that, and he'd won a lot of races and everything, but I think he's going to be one of the greats.
Sprint is the only global phone company with local, long distance, and cellular. So whether you're calling around the world or around the corner, with Sprint, you can be there now. So whoever said the world doesn't revolve around you, obviously didn't have Sprint.
The 1993 NASCAR season was one wild ride. Now you can relive the excitement of all 30 Winston Cup races by ordering the 1993 NASCAR Year in Review home video. For just $19.98, you can experience the triumph at Daytona, the battle for the point championship, and the rookie season of the stars of tomorrow. To order, call 1-800-764-5441 or send $19.98 plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown. Visa and MasterCard accepted.
Robert, all we need here is some oil and we'll be ready to crank. Okay. Yes, get us 2 cases. I have one.
Yes, sir, right away.
Robert, we're out. Get us 2 cases and fly.
There's only one motor oil that Robert Yates Racing relies on for complete protection. Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco. The same Haviland Formula 3 you can use in your car.
That was quick.
Yeah, they had it right down the street.
Hey, we got 50.
It's decision-making time in New Britain, Connecticut.
Wow, look at that socket set.
You see, New Britain's the home of Stanley.
What do you think? The electric stapler or the screwdriver set?
And while it's no easy task,
Glue gun? What glue gun?
making the best possible products all year long,
Oh, yeah, Mom's love these things.
it's even tougher deciding
I just don't know.
which makes the best gift.
Does he have a Stanley garage door opener?
Doesn't everybody?
Look for great gift ideas at the Stanley Gift Center at leading retailers.
Dale, when I talk to you about championships, I know you're not concerned about championships. All you want to do is race. But guess what? As you race, the championships just keep coming. You got 6 behind you now. Number 7, Richard Petty. That's, you know, people think that might be a goal, but I think your goal is just to win races, and the championships just keep coming.
Yeah, it's true. The media is going to have fun with that this year, I imagine. But, you know, we've got that 6th one behind us, so now we can focus on the 7th one, and it being Richard's record. If we can tie him up, that'd be great. But I tell you, Neil, winning 6 championships is pretty gratifying, pretty proud of that. And if we don't get that 7th, then we're pretty happy with what we've got. But that is the focus now, is winning the 7th championship. And the years I have left in racing, with I feel like I've got 8 years, or 8 good years or so in racing. I'll be 50 years old in the year 2000. I feel like I can race through there, and with that, looking at that as driving that long, I think I got a couple shots of winning another championship or 2, hopefully 2, and that's sort of our goal, is to race to the year 2000 and then look at maybe retiring then. But winning that the 7th championship would be great.
You know, I was going to get around to asking how long you thought you might be driving. That's probably good news to the fans to hear how long, but the competitors would like to see you quit a little sooner.
Well, you know yourself, your health is what slowed you down. And if my health stays good and we don't bar no accidents or anything, we get in trouble. If my health stays good, I think I can race that long. 50 years old, Harry Gant's retiring, at 52? And if you can stay healthy and sharp, I think you can race that long.
I remember when you didn't have anything, when we were both struggling to try to get around.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes, sir. And just struggling to make it to a short track. Couldn't buy the tires, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. And now 6 championships, all the money, all the stuff around and everything. But I think the strong part about you is everything around you's changed, but you haven't. You're still the same guy. How have you been able to maintain that level and not just change yourself personally?
Well, I've never wanted to be a flamboyant type person, to movie star style or whatever, you know. Just be the regular Dale Earnhardt that gets in a race car and drives hard. I want to be remembered from what I do in that race car, and I try to be fair and be a good person to everybody, and sometimes that's hard, as many people as you deal with in business and stuff. But you know, we still enjoy the same things we enjoyed back then when I raced in Busch Grand National or sportsman racing or whatever when we get started, hunting and fishing and palling around with the guys and, you know, wearing the blue jeans and just having a good time, and that's still where I'm at. I can put my suit on and go over to the dealership and be a businessman, but I'm more comfortable kicking back here at the farm and riding a tractor or messing with my bush car or one of my old cars or whatever. And that time's gotten shorter and shorter. So, you know, I'm piling up all my toys until when I retire, if I'm still able to enjoy them then.
I think one of the keys to you, Dale, is how competitive you are. Not necessarily to win championships, but to win races. And take a car that runs 10th on that given day. It's a 10th place car. You make it run 2nd or 3rd. And you're so competitive. What is it that keeps driving you as hard as you do?
You can answer that. You wanting to get back in a race car just as bad as I'm wanting to be in one tomorrow, but it's just something that's born and bred into you, I think. I grew up in racing, and I love racing to the point that I'm comfortable with it. I'm more relaxed in a race car than I am on TV or whatever, doing whatever, but you know yourself. It's the most important thing in life to you and I, and racing's what we live for, and that's our business, our profession, our fun. People say, well, it's your job. It's not a job, it's fun. You know, you get in a race car and get after it, and you're having a good time and making a living too.
Well, all the racing's a lot of fun, but this stuff right here, how demanding is that? I mean, and when you're the champion, I know it's coming at you from every direction right now, and how do you deal with all that?
Well, you just take them one at a time. You do whatever it takes.
Yeah, but I'm number 10 this time.
Yeah.
They just keep coming.
You just take them one at a time and go as you can. And, you know, we look at the championship and you win that championship, and then you can't just say, well, okay, we won the championship, yay, and but then all these folks want to talk to you, and the press and the sponsors want to do things around it. You've got to jump in there and get after it and do whatever it takes, because you are the champion. I'm proud of being the champion. So I'm eager to talk about it and confer with it. You know, it's a pretty fast pace. You hear there and wherever. You know, you and I got on an airplane in Alabama last night and flew up here about 11 o'clock and to do this morning, and you're going back to Alabama in a couple hours. So you've got a busier world today than I have. So I get to kick back on the farm here for a while. But you just go and do it. I'm proud to be NASCAR Winston Cup champion, and I'll get out there and talk about it.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, Neil.
Mike, that's number 6, and he's still counting.
You know, it's been projected that if Dale Earnhardt continues at his present title-winning pace, and if he continues to drive as long as Richard Petty did, Earnhardt might end up with as many as 10 Winston Cup championships.
Our engine program has come a long way this year. We started with nothing. We hadn't done our own stuff before, and right now I feel our engines are very competitive. We've had great runs the last few weeks at Rockingham. We had a great run at Phoenix, Richmond. So things are starting to come around for us.
What is luxury? Buying some $40,000 sedan? Or being able to sleep at night because you bought a car for a lot less that you really love? Chevrolet has the answer. Right now, they're making your money count on Chevy Cavalier with standard anti-lock brakes and $500 cash back until January 4th. I don't know about you, but I'll be sleeping well tonight. Make your money count. See your local Chevy Geo dealer today. Event ends January 4th.
There's a white star shining under the sun. A determined human star makes the black car run. There's a crowd cheering every brilliant glow. It's David takes number 28 high and low. There's danger lurking round every turn. The courageous human star has learned. But he keeps pushing hard because he knows a blessed checkered flag is waiting to blow.
If your teeth are yellow or stained, it's nothing to smile about.
But this is Dental White, the professional non-abrasive tooth whitening process used by dentists across the country to whiten their patients' teeth. Jeanette used Dental White on her upper teeth only. Now just look at these dramatic results.
My boyfriend, he loves my new smile.
I was amazed at how simple and easy it was to use.
My teeth were whiter after the first time I used it.
Dental White penetrates into the pores of your teeth to lift out grime. Simply apply the Dental White formula to the custom tray and fit it to your teeth. And then wear the tray for 30 minutes. Dental White will whiten your teeth and make them more brilliant than ever. Call now and you'll get a double-sized bottle of Dental White, 2 sets of custom trays, and easy-to-follow instructions, all for just $19.95.
For faster service, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-776-4200 or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Dental White, 2001 American Way, Roanoke, Virginia.
This TNN Motorsports special has been brought to you by Chevrolet. No car company brings more race-winning technology to the streets than Chevrolet. And by the NASCAR Year in Review home video, available now.
Welcome back as we take a look ahead to 1994. It will be a season of change, like here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This used to be the Winston Cup garage area. It's been leveled and lowered and will be all new when we come back here in May. There's lots more that's new about next season. Rusty Wallace will put Miller Black and Gold on a Ford next season, while Bobby Labonte's Maxwell House Blue will adorn Pontiac sheet metal. And there are driver changes aplenty. Jimmy Spencer moves to Junior Johnson in the McDonald's Ford, while Hut Strickland goes to Travis Carter's new team and drives the Smokin' Joe's Ford. Jimmy Hensley moves into the Jasper Engines US Air car. Ted Musgrave goes to Jack Roush to drive the Family Channel Ford, and Wally Dollenbach Jr. moves to the King's STP Pontiac. Terry Labonte goes to Rick Hendrick's Chevrolet stable, taking the Kellogg sponsorship with him, while Sterling Marlin will drive for Morgan McClure and the Kodak team. And my two TNN broadcast partners, Neil Bonnett and Buddy Baker, return to the circuit with limited schedules, Bonnett driving Chevys for James Finch and Baker for Dick Moroso. Still a lot of good seats unfilled and a lot of good drivers unseated. And there are rookies aplenty, so you'll definitely need a program when you go to Daytona. TNN's broadcast schedule expands to 7 Winston Cup races. Once again, you'll see both events at Rockingham and Dover, the New Hampshire and Phoenix races, plus we'll add the June event at Pocono. And again in '94, you'll see more Busch Grand National races on TNN than on all other networks combined. We're left with lots of images of the '93 season. The determination of champion Dale Earnhardt, the enthusiasm of Rusty Wallace, concentration of Mark Martin, the tough choices of Ernie Irvin, that mischievous grin on the face of Davey Allison, and Alan Kulwicki striving to be the best champion he could be and succeeded. Most of all, for me, the lump in my throat when anybody wheels a car around to a Kulwicki victory lap. We look ahead to 1994 and hope that the memories of that season will all be happy.